Hey y'all, this is so not planned, but I don't know what's on my eye. That's how God does what he does when he does it. I got my clothes on. I just got my robe on because I'm cold. I'm always the cold one in the house. But listen, I don't know what that is on my eye, y'all. My lash. Anyways, um, so I wanted this word been or this message has been um on my mind since God gave me this topic. Um and one day I'm going to write a book on it. But I was praying that I heard this again, me versus me. And so when I first heard it, I was like, that's it. Like that makes sense. That's the perfect topic for the area of life that most of us, well, I can't say most of us, that some of us has experienced in this year. Me versus me. We oftentimes hear about battles and conflicts we have with other people, or they talk about us, or we get in arguments, we got disputes, somebody sleep with somebody bad, all that other stuff. We hear about those, and those start conflicts, or money issues start conflicts with somebody else. But what is it when you have a conflict within yourself? What do I mean by that is who you're struggling with, or you not a, well, yeah, struggle, but you're battling with who you were and who God has called you to be now. Who I was before and who God is lining and positioning me to be now. Why is it a battle? Number one, why is it a battle is because we get comfortable with being who we were before. We know how that operates. We know what that looks like. We know what to expect. We are prepared for any balls that come our way, that are thrown our way. We are prepared for that because we've lived that way most of all our lives. But what is it when we are now, God is showing us more things about us that we didn't even know that was in us? What is it when God begins to show us that he's taking us higher, or he's just simply removing people out of our life and removing the things and desires that we once craved and desired to do? We no longer crave and desire to do it, and now we looking crazy because this is how I've always done it. Everybody else have done it this way. And so one, I don't want to feel like I'm better than nobody. Number two, I don't want to feel like something is wrong with me. Like, what is wrong with me that I don't view that as fun no more? What is wrong with me that I don't have a desire to do that anymore, when that always sparked my interest, when I always like doing that, when I always like going to that place? What is it about me? And then we start thinking, is something wrong with me? Is something wrong with me? Because now I feel like an outcast because everybody else around me is doing all these things and they're happy and it excites them. And then when I do it and I step into the room, it does not excite me. I feel like an outcast. And no one likes feeling like an outcast. So that's number two. Outcast is why we in the battle, me versus me, because you will feel isolated. You will feel secluded. You will feel like an outcast because you feel like, who else around me thinks like this? Like, who else around me feels this way? Because everybody around me seems like they're used to doing things the way I used to do it. But how many people around me like doing things the new way? Of, or like thinking the new way that I think? There's not too many people. And in the beginning stages, you feel like you can't find no one, so you feel isolated because you feel crazy that I feel this way, and it seems like no one else gets it. No one else gets it. Oh, I used to do it that way the entire time, and now when I do it that way, it just don't even feel right. It's a battle, me versus me. It's one thing to be in a battle with somebody else. It's another thing to be in a battle within yourself. I feel like the hardest battle you can be with is within yourself. Because it's the old man versus the new me. And as much as God tried to pull me towards the new me, I am trying to go back to the way the old me was. But even when I tried to go back to the old me thinking that that would make me comfortable, now I'm uncomfortable in the old me, in the way I used to do things and the things I used to do. So my thought process was to go back so I could be comfortable, but now I'm back. It does not make me comfortable. It makes me even more comfortable. So now I feel more crazy. I feel more isolated. I feel like, Lord, what in the world? What is you doing? Because I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding. And you are pulling me in a direction that I don't even feel like I'm fit for or qualified for. You are pulling me in a direction that I don't even feel worthy enough to stand in. You pulling me in a direction, how about this? You pulling me in a direction that I don't even want to go, or I don't even desire to be in. What is it when you have a battle within yourself? And y'all, if this message don't resonate with nobody else, I can promise you this resonates with me, because I really feel like these 2 years was a battle, especially this year was a battle between me versus me. And I think that occurs when you grow, like growing pains. I think that occurs when you grow and you reach new heights, you reach new understandings about things. God begins to show and reveal things to you. And I think that it's a normal part of life, that you will continue to evolve and you will continue to grow. I keep asking God, what is it? Who am I now? Who am I now? Because I couldn't identify who I was now. I know things within me were changing. The how I view things, how I look at things were changing. I was like, Lord, who am I now? So many days in prayer, I would say, Lord, who am I now? Who am I now that I didn't come out this storm? I knew that it was a survival going through the storm. I knew that it was a fight getting through the storm. But now I'm on the other side. Who am I now after all I done experienced? Who am I now after all the heartache? Who am I now after all the pain? Because now I'm done with that chapter, and now you've put me here, and I don't know who I am now on the other side of this. Who am I now? And I simply heard a woman that's evolving, which is so crazy, y'all, because I love me some Sarah Jakes Roberts. And if you don't know, she has a women's group that's called Women Evolved. And evolving means you're constantly changing into a form. And so when I heard you're a woman evolving, I was like, okay, it makes sense. Because there is, when you're evolving, things are still changing, things are still moving, things are still um going through changes. And so I literally was asking God, who am I now? Because I don't think the way that I did before the blow. I don't operate the way that I did before the blow. I'm no longer in survival mode. I'm no longer in redemption mode. Who am I now? Some of us, and this varied off, but I gotta say this, some of us has been in survival mode all our lives, that we don't know no other mood to be in. We've always been in a mood of survival, like we gotta survive, that we haven't experienced thriving in life. We haven't experienced what rest is like. We haven't experienced letting go and letting God, because we've always been in survival mode. I have to survive to get through this. I have to survive. Here, I put down my guards. Here's something else. I gotta survive to go through it. And I know every person that has always been in survival mode, you have to be tired. You gotta be tired, always surviving and not thriving, or always with your guards up and on edge, and you don't have time to just let your hair down or let your fists up. You always up with your fists up, prepared for whatever come. let your guards down. And when I say let your guards down, not guards down to people, let your guards down to God. Your survival mode, there will be situations where you are in survival mode. But it should be a season where the survival stops and you surrender and let your fist down. Hold your hands up and surrender it to God. So instead of being in survival mode, you can now be in thriving mode. And does that mean because I surrender that everything around me is good? No. What I surrender is me acknowledging that I cannot do it, but you can. I no longer can operate all my life in survival mode. I now want to thrive because being in survival mode is so tiresome. And it's like you got tunnel vision, like it's a focus, it's a dart that you just have to focus right here. Nothing else, like nothing else matters. You don't have room for the extra. You don't have room for the other stuff because you just in survival mode. Well, Lord, I'm no longer in survival mode. I'm no longer in catch up or redemption mode. Now, who am I? Who am I on the other side of this? Me versus me. Simone, the old way what I was thinking, and me. Because now you're showing me to forgive more easily, whereas the old Simone will hold on to things. Now you're showing me that it's okay to let people go. And often I find myself praying, Lord, remove them. Whereas the old Simone would hold on to everything and everybody because she's fear of rejection. She's fearful of failure. She's fearful of the word no because that's rejection. I've battled with uh, rejection for a while in my life, and it wasn't until my healing process um, that I began to, um, I want to say detach myself from that spirit, but God began to show me things, and I had to work through things to deal with that spirit of rejection. And so now I'm at a place where I view rejection differently. Somebody know is not meaning that they're rejecting me. Somebody know can simply mean their boundaries. And I am more open to saying no when need to be necessary because I am not scared of rejection. The old Simone hold on to her ideas and her vision of what life was so tightly that I did not leave room for God for his vision. I did not leave room for God for what he had planned in my life. And if I'm honest, I have improved, but I still battle with that. Because naturally, at heart, I am a control freak. And so I'm getting better, but I still battle with that because when I see something, I like to go after it. I want it to go the way I see it, the way I vision it, the way I want it to go. Here's the thing with God is that sometimes he show us the big pictures, but he don't show us the turns, the things that's gonna come our way, the illness, the deaths, the stuff that's gonna hit us by the time we get to that destination. And so me versus me, I didn't have time to battle nobody else because I was in a battle within myself. And that's not saying that the old me was necessarily a bad person that was doing crazy things. Just the old me was who I was before. And now the new me is who I am on the other side of that. And that looks different. That looks totally different. Who am I now when the smoke clears? Oh, no, that's good. That's a good one. Who am I now when the smoke's clear? I'm a woman evolving. So I pray that um one, this video lets you know that you're not alone. I have come out the season, but trust and believe, I've been there. Mostly this year, than anything before. Number two, you're not crazy. You're not the only one. As isolated as you may think or you may feel, there are people that's battling the old them and the new them. And let me say this. I thank God for bringing this up, and I might do a part two video to this. Take time to mourn the old you. When we think about mourning, we often associate that with uh somebody dying. And yes, and I'm respectful in all of that. But you can also mourn uh first of all, you can mourn a person that's still alive. Let's say that. And you can also mourn things. Allow yourself to go through, work through the fact that you are no longer that person. And you're going to miss that person in certain things. You're going to uh, think about the way you used to do things. Take your time to mourn that, because you are growing and you are evolving. And so, yeah, it's going to bother you. It's going to bother you that you uh it's going to bother you because you're going to feel like you're losing something. And in a sense, you are losing something. But I can promise you, you are gaining way more than what you're losing into the new person that God has designed and positioned you to be. And I've never seen God take something away from me and have not given me something greater. It's never been it's not a less than with God, it's a greater than. And so give yourself time to mourn the old you and give yourself grace, because in the process it's going to be times where you challenge it and you want to go back to the old you, but you will find every time that you go back there it's going to be more and more uncomfortable, because you're no longer that person anymore, and that's okay. And you no longer want to do things that you used to do, and that's okay too, y'all. It's okay. It's okay. Tell yourself it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in to Me Versus Me. Be on the lookout for some future things with that title. Because I feel like God is really dealing with me with that. Make sure y'all uh, like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel to get new videos that's posted. Make sure you subscribe to our website. I am going to work on rescheduling the Healing Academy session with Shawana. So be on the lookout for that date. And I have another date lined up in December as well. Let's just love on one another, y'all. That's it. Love on one another. Encourage somebody. Be there for somebody. Because you never know when the tables will turn. And you need the same thing that I'm asking you to give to somebody else. All right. I love y'all. Hope y'all have a good day. Bye.